Okay. Good morning. It is just after 10 o'clock in the AM on Friday, October 23rd, 2020. In the lunar cycle Itotstoi, when cold arrives. And no kidding, ever since that new moon got here, beginning of last week, we have had nothing but cold and snow and ice. It's currently negative 9 degrees Celsius here in Lethbridge. And I am running a couple of errands. I've left my students back at the studio with their business instructor, Heather Black, for the morning so that I could come over here to the west side. I'm in the Sunridge neighborhood currently, where I have had report of an injured or sick or something's wrong with it, a goose that is hanging out at the pond here, has not vacated with all the other geese, and is spending perhaps full 24-hour days just sitting on the ice or in the little open water crag that they have here. And so there's concern that this goose is not eaten, that it can't fly, that it's got some kind of health issues, and I'm just gonna come check it out. I don't know that there'll be anything that I can do at this point if the goose is, as reported, in the middle of a pond that's now has just a very thin layer of ice on it. So I'm gonna check out this situation, and then we're going to Popson Park, where the city tells me there is a beaver situation they want me to look into. Maybe I can just park in here. Yeah, somebody had complained to city parks that too many trees in one area, maybe by the dog run in Popson Park, were being knocked down by the beavers in their winter food prep. So I'm just gonna go check that out and advise the city we might just have some trees wrapped or something, if the damage is getting considerable. And then on the north side of town, I hear tell that from the city as well that there is potentially a badger who's taken up residence by our homeless shelter. So we're gonna go check that out too. Any case, let us go out and look for this sick or injured goose. All right, I believe I have found the goose, and the goose is already aware of me, kind of checking him out. So he looks like he's got tucked wings, so he probably doesn't have a wing issue, but he could certainly have any sort of other health issue. Why is the goose here alone? That is a good question. And has he come off the ice at all to eat? This looks like something came off across the water, or maybe that's just a piece of the way that it's just the kind of area where two ice slabs come together. I thought maybe it was a trail to see if the goose had been coming on shore to eat. That is an issue. Has the goose eaten? Like I say, we've only been icy here a week, so there's no way I'm trusting to walk on that stuff. And I certainly don't have equipment to break out there with a boat or something after this thing. And I don't think it would sit still to be caught like that anyway. Well, we'll keep monitoring this animal, I think. See what happens, but right now there's not much I can do for it. But there's definitely something weird. Why is it here? Well, the other geese are off doing their winter goose thing now. This one does seem to have some issue. All right, I guess we'll make our way to Popson and go check on that beaver situation next.
Hi, Ryan.
Hey, so I just want to touch base. I went to go check on the goose just now to kind of see what. To see, yeah.
Got out of his little.
I freaked him out. So he got he got up and walked out on the ice, and so I mean physically he doesn't look like he's got anything broken, but you know, obviously he's there for some reason, and it can't be good. But I don't think there's any way to get at him right now. You know, even if we had a little boat or something, I don't think he's going to sit still for anybody to come up, break through the ice, and approach him. So.
But I wonder if we could put food out for him.
Yeah, I would think so. I think so. If we get some like cracked corn and stuff, or throw it out on the ice, that might be helpful. Yeah.
Like maybe he could at least walk to it or something.
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because, like, there's quite a few people that walk their dogs and stuff around, so I don't know if that's why, but that happens all summer, and the geese are just on the side.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on.
No, it's strange. He's definitely in some kind of dilemma, but getting at him is a problem. So yeah, I think the idea of tossing some food out there for him is probably about the best you can do right now.
Okay. What do you do? Like just raw corn or something and bread, or?
You can get, like, if you go to any of the animal food supply places, you can get like duck food, goose food.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some places in the industrial areas on the north side that I know you can, some animal feed places that I've bought stuff like that at before.
But what's the long-term thing?
The long term is, you know, hopefully he'll start coming to the edge so that we can catch him up and bring him to the wildlife rehab. I plan to bring him to Medicine River up by Cochrane, but he has to, you know, we have to get him in a situation where we can catch him, and he could die before that happens. You know, who knows?
Well,
like,
the stress might freak him out.
Yeah.
Right? That might
For sure, the stress of being trying, you know, but then I don't know. There's not much, not much now. I mean, we can do in that regard until he's in an accessible situation or the ice is strong enough to support people, you know.
So I'm just watching him right now, and he stood up, and he's walking a little bit, and he ruffled his feathers.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
No, he's looking physically healthy, but there's something wrong, you know. Something's wrong.
He can't fly.
Yeah.
He definitely can't fly. I wonder if his wing will mend. Is that possible?
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know if he can survive, you know, the winter while it mends, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So keep me updated. I'll check in on the guy too when I'm on this side of town, but we'll see how it develops.
Okay.
Okay. You bet.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I gotta say, I love the harsh environment of southern Alberta where I live. I love it that we just have the summer and winter, and they're both so extreme, you know. dial back 2 lunar cycles past, I could have come out here, shown you rattlesnakes, black widows, you know, cacti, all kinds of desert life. And look at it today. The river's already starting to slush up. They say it's going to be a harsh winter. And by they, I mean that seems to be the general consensus among people that I know, native, non-native, is everybody is sensing that this is going to be a harsh winter. I think the Farmer's Almanac predicts it as such, and definitely it's setting in. You know, it's just like it came to land. Boom, and here it is. But I love it. So here at Popson Park, I mean, obviously this is not really good beaver territory right in this stretch. There's a dog run along this ridge here, just behind this ridge here, that goes out toward a picnic shelter at several picnic tables and a shelter that you can rent access to on the upstream side. Further out that way, I know there has historically been a beaver lodge across the river against a cut bank on the opposite shore. So if that lodge is still active, then they could be coming across the river and cutting trees down near the shelter area. I don't know. I'm kind of just walking this stretch and looking, okay, where is there, do I see an area where beavers have been coming up and working, and I haven't seen any yet. It doesn't surprise me. But we'll check that side, and then there's another beaver lodge historically down that way. Ooh, who is that? Can't tell if that's a tern or somebody else. The bald eagles should be, that must be a tern. Just landed. The bald eagles should start coming back here pretty soon. I would expect to see them in this park in the not too distant future. But yeah, historically there's been a beaver lodge at that end too. That end's not a high use people area, so I don't think if he's cutting down, and there's not a lot of large trees over there or anything. I don't know if that's the area of concern or not, but just off on a exploratory investigation of the complaint, and we'll see what we find. So I have hiked all the way upstream to the picnicking and shelter area, the astronomical observatory tucked back in there, and this is the end of the park, the downstream end of the park, and I don't see any beaver impact in this forest. Certainly nothing to be concerned about. So perhaps the complaint was in regard to beaver activity on the downstream end of the park instead. I don't really know if I'm going to have enough time to get over there by the time I get back to my truck, because I need to return to the studio to relieve the instructor at lunch. My new group, by the way, of Aboriginal artists and entrepreneurs, my new group is pretty cool. They've it's a totally different dynamic than the last group. I mean, in terms of just the energy in the room is different. The work habits and stuff are different. The interests are different, and the backgrounds and experiences. And, you know, in the last group, I had a lot of people that were already kind of semi-established entrepreneurs coming into the program, just trying to like shape up their game. This time it's really more people who have some maybe more honed art experiences for a good portion of the group, not so much small business experience. So any case, it's a cool group. They're just about finished with their first unit, which is beadwork jewelry, and I'll show you some of that. Now, I just came out this way to look also to see, like, up against that cut bank is where there have historically been beaver lodges in the past, but I see none today. So not surprising that this forest is unscathed in terms of beaver impact. Anyway, yeah, when I go back to the studio, I'll show you some of their work that they've been doing these past, I guess they're finishing now their third week or so of the program. And they have taken on a little contract with a friend of mine, Tanya Blackplume, whose daughter, Cayenne, is graduating from high school this year. And Tanya wanted her, I always look for a black speckle rock to take with me from the river. I have this little habit, and I leave them, you know, in places like that I visit a lot or that I stay. Like there's a pile of them at my house. There's a pile of them at my old house. But yeah, I always take a black rock with me. Any case, my friend's daughter is graduating, and she wants her to have a beautiful Blackfoot style but modern graduation dress. And so I said, well, why don't you come talk to my group down at the studio, because there's one artisan in there who has been to, you know, she's a graduate from a New York fashions design school. There's another in there who was a professional seamstress. And so, you know, the skills are there. And I've got a couple of other ladies who are just very interested in fashions and creating fashion lines. So I think it's going to be an interesting project, like kind of just a sub project for them, but a real feather in the cap when it's done. And I know Tanya, she'll give them their due respect publicly if they do the right job for her, which I'm sure they will. Anyway, I'll see when I get to the truck whether or not I still have enough time on the clock to check the downstream end. Kind of feels silly to come all the way down here and not check it, but the clock is the clock is the clock. It's not nature, it's the clock. So we must abide. Now this is pretty curious. Bunch of little bullberries left on a rock at the edge of the river by a small bird looking at the size of the feet. I don't think those are magpie feet, and yet I'm aware that around me in these trees there are magpies observing me and what I'm up to. I seen them as I came upon the berries. They couldn't help themselves. They're making some sounds. I think one is coming back this way. Yeah, there he's swooping in right there. Boom. So they're watching to see what I'm going to do. And I think what I'm going to do is I will eat a berry. I'll eat one of these berries. Or maybe I'll eat a couple of them. Gosh. Very good. We'll see if I don't think the magpies will do anything more than observe, but it's always worth joining them in the experiment. Gee, I can't walk around. I'm gonna break through this ice, go around the edge here. Anyway, still trying to get back to the truck. Well, now I'm almost back to the truck, and I'm pretty sure I found the area of complaint. I could have found it like right off the hop because the truck is just parked over here by these chokecherry brush. If I'd have taken this trail in instead of the river, if I'd have just taken the dog run trail, I'd have come across this right away. I'm glad I did all the same before getting out of the park. But yeah, there's a whole bank of trees here that have just been knocked right down. Almost surely by the downstream beaver. You know, starting just up in here and all along there. I don't know. I guess I'll walk in here and see if they've continued to work the past little bit here. While it's been snowy, there should be evidence if they have. I should, when I can, come back and check as soon as possible at the lodge itself. Maybe that's something Chelsea and I can do tomorrow, to see what's going on there, what things are like there. But yeah, certainly a lot of cutting has been going on along this bank, which is, you know, not necessarily a bad thing. The beavers are key to the design of this whole ecosystem, but people have their aesthetics. So I think tomorrow I'll come back with Chelsea, take another look around and see where we might, where I might tell the city, let's put up some, some shields, some cages on some of these trees to keep them away from the others, because there's plenty of wood they've already cut here. They don't need to cut more trees this year for sure, but it may be that it's, too late anyway. I mean, the damage is done, and what are we going to do at this point? They're going to be locked in the ice pretty quick. But I don't know. There's still some more trees along this line now and the beavers are working in here. You can see, they've knocked down some. Still some good ones standing. So maybe if we were to throw some shields on the good ones that are still standing, that would be of aesthetic benefit. this old tree. Large. Anyhow, I better make my way back to the studio now and see what's shaking over there at the lunch hour.
GoPro?
So when I watched
Yeah, a little.
Buffalo Stonewoman, I asked to do a survey. So I asked to do a survey to ask how did they like me as a guide for all of them, and this is where I started. So I asked membership questions because I don't want not people like they're white people.
Yeah, I'll show you some of the jewelry they've been making.
It's the Indigenous Inclusive Hiking Group. So non-nation members can join the group, but they have to be willing to learn about our ways, right? So we have a lot of group people out there, so I try to weed them out. So just to see what kind of hike they have, I added this pre-question. Give me one word to describe an Indigenous person. And then since this is a free hiking group, I have to put in this clause where, yes, we acknowledge that you hike at your own risk.
And when I came back, he goes, guess what? The goose is gone. And I looked and it's gone. I said, well, he might have walked to the shoreline. And he goes, no. He goes, I've been watching it. And he goes, I would have seen it. Like, I only looked down for a little bit. He must have flown away. And I'm like, okay. I said, or did a dog get it or something? And he said, well, no, a dog would fall through the ice if it went out there. He goes, it happened too quickly. So.
Well, that's good news.
I guess so. And I've been
it's pretty bizarre, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's very bizarre. And I've been eyeing the shoreline to see if he walked out there, but my husband said it would have taken a little while for him to get there. And he thought he would have seen it. So I'm going to still keep an eye open because I do feel like that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like, the only thing I can think of is maybe his wing bended or something. Because you remember I said to you that I saw him ruffle his feathers a couple of times, and he didn't do it like he was in pain or slow or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I took a good look at his movements because I deal with a lot of injured wildlife. And it didn't look like he had anything physically, wrong. I mean, in terms of like broken wings or broken legs or anything like that. So that all looked good.
Maybe he was waiting for his group. I don't know. Or maybe he lost his way.
You never know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, well, that's hopefully a happy ending. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Ryan. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. So it sounds like the Goose has worked itself out, and I got another call just a few minutes before. A couple of guys in Heritage have a skunk that they've caught in one of their own traps that they'd like me to come release. So we're gonna close up shop here. It's end of the day, and head over to Heritage, take care of a skunk.
So where are you teaching?
Just down on 2nd Avenue North across the street from Mark's Work Warehouse. I'm working for Samus Aboriginal Employment, and I do a Aboriginal Arts and Entrepreneurship program through the winter.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. So we just get to sit around and create all winter and sell stuff.
That's cool.
Okay, here we are, hey?
Yeah. We started throwing it in that bag.
Oh yeah, he probably let out some stink too, did he?
Oh yeah.
Set this up. Ooh.
Dave's all scared.
This is actually pretty enclosed in itself, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't even bother dragging this. Just take him out as is.
Well, I'm sure glad I got your phone number now.
Yeah, you ever need something like this, just let me know.
The whole phone bucket. People pretty much, the nicest way they could, hung up the phone.
Oh yeah. Not a lot of guys want to deal with skunks. Even some of the other like pest control guys.
Yeah, they don't even want him?
No, they'll subcontract to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them. Figure since I'm in the neighborhood, might as well stop at Mahoney's and quickly clean up the snow off the walks. I've been the last several days coming over here, cleaning up the walks, keeping it just nice. All right, put the shovel away. We'll go release Skunky. All right, so I think I'll save the badger investigation for the weekend, and it's a pretty decent day. A few wildlife issues, got myself a new skunk trap because I don't want that one back, I guess, and it's a nice enclosed one. Good day.